We'll get started. Coach Clifford, why don't you start with a few words?
Okay, so after the game against New Orleans on Thursday, I was tested positive, and that's coming off the game, as I think you all know, in Atlanta, where one of the officials was tested positive. So we were on basically, I don't know, Joel, maybe you can help me, high alert by the NBA. And then yesterday, I did 2 tests. They were both negative. And but what I did do during the day with our trainer, Ernest Eugene, who's been great, I stayed here, quarantined, and excuse me, every couple hours, checked my temperature and my oxidation numbers, which we, and they were always fine. I haven't had any problems at all. No temperature, no headaches, nothing. And so I have to say I was shocked today. I went in this morning when my results came back as positive, and basically that's where we're at.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. We'll start with Tim Reynolds, Associated Press.
Hey, Cliff. First off, how are you feeling? Do you feel fine?
No, I mean, I feel fine. Also, I guess the thing that I should mention that I took this vaccination on Thursday. So I'm fully vaccinated, but I have had no issue.
And I mean, this whole year has been challenge after challenge. How frustrating to deal with this?
So Cliff, Tim asked, the whole year has been challenging, and now obviously dealing with this.
I mean, you know what, Tim, I'll tell you where I've gotten to is that for me, these last 3 weeks and 13 games, it's really so much about the players. And it's been a tough year, but you have to evaluate things. You have to self-reflect. And this is not easy for guys either. The easy thing to do to me as a head coach is say, oh, woe is me. But our guys are trying hard. We didn't the other night, but we have for the most part. And, I want them to get the most out of this last 13 games as they can. And I think our younger guys have a good attitude about it. I think our older guys have been great. Obviously, the health issues have been, nothing like I've ever dealt with before. But I want us to finish strong, and I want us to play better and make progress.
Thanks, Cliff.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to ask you please to backtrack because the previous question by Tim, you had an echo and we couldn't quite entirely understand you. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask his question again. How are you feeling?
No, I feel fine. I mean, I have no temperature. I feel 100%. I got the second vaccination on Thursday afternoon, Moderna, and I know some people have had trouble with that. I've had no problems at all. So, again, today when Ernest came out, I was actually out in the garage in my car with Jeff Weltman and John Hammond. When he came out and said I was positive, I was beyond shocked. I thought we were going to be able to go in, practice. Well, first of all, take the team picture with Joel, practice, and go home. And I was shocked that it was positive. So I feel 100%.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, what's the next steps for you to be able to coach tomorrow? And I apologize for the echo. I'm not sure why that's happening.
So, I mean, I took a test at about 3:45. So that'll be a test. I'll go in and test tomorrow morning. And I guess if both are negative, maybe there's a chance. I would think probably because the industry is so thorough, it makes sense to me, there would be a better chance for Monday. But it's all dependent on obviously how the test comes out.
Jamie Say, WKMG.
Hey, Steve, I'm sorry about the echo. And I'm glad you're feeling good. Do you have a level of concern going forward after you get 2 positives?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, Joel and I talked about this afternoon. I mean,
Oops.
I think the NBA is incredibly organized about how we've done COVID testing, and I want to coach badly. I mean, I've been communicating with our players here for the last couple hours about, how do you feel and all that stuff. But I mean, the biggest thing is, it would only take a couple of teams, to really send this thing out of whack. And, obviously, that's what the league has been, I think, on top of, totally organized. And so it's important that we all abide by their rules. And I mean, I'm comfortable with that. And I know the players are also.
But do you have a level of concern personally for you? I mean, with the unknown of this.
Yeah, you know what, Jamie, not to make a joke of it, I'll tell you, I just talked to Mo a few minutes ago, and I told him, with this body, I'm not sure the pandemic can really hurt me. How about that? Let's leave it at that.
Okay. Luke Hetrick, Spectrum Sports.
Cliff, I'm glad you're feeling okay, but to kind of piggyback off what Jamie said, given your health history and that you have had some scares in the past couple of years, when you do get that positive test, what level of concern do you have about what this could do to you, even though you are fully vaccinated?
Well, I think I mean, I've read about this a lot, and I think the one thing, and I think the magic for this is, I think the fact that we've all been able to go through the vaccination process. And I got my second vaccine on Thursday, which, if you look at it in terms of percentages and numbers, I feel comfortable that, I'm not really in danger. So that, with the fact that, my temperature, my oxidation numbers, how I feel, I have no side effects right now. I'm very comfortable with that.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, I apologize. I'm like the Zoom call police, but when Roy asked his question, you echoed again. I just want to make sure. I will have a follow-up after this. What are the next steps in terms of when you take your subsequent tests from this point forward, and what those need to show in order for you to be able to coach tomorrow night?
Okay, so today, in order for us to practice, I took a test this morning around, I think it was around 8:45, and we were scheduled to practice at 4. So at about 3:30 or 3:25, maybe, Joel, you can help me with this. Ernest came out and told us again. I was out there with Jeff and with John, and they said that he said that the test came back positive again, which was, again, shocking to me. So what that meant, that I had gone positive Thursday night, 2 tests Friday that were both negative, and then positive on that test for this morning. And then immediately I took another test right away before I left the facility, and I'll take another test tomorrow morning. Personally, I don't see a way that I coach tomorrow night. Monday maybe, and I guess if all these tests are negative, it could be a chance by the time we go on the road. But again, I think it just depends on, the league. And again, I totally understand it. It's frustrating for me, but the league has to do what's best for the players and for everybody, so we continue to go forward and play the games, and we all have to abide by their decisions.
Tim Reynolds, Associated Press.
Cliff, if you can't go, who takes your seat?
Yeah, so Ty will coach, Ty Corbin. He's obviously had, experience as a head coach, and he did it last year in Minnesota when I had the injury, whatever the scare there at halftime, and the guys have great respect for him, and he'll do a great job.
Thank you.
Josh, go ahead.
Steve, just to be clear, is the theory here that you might have picked up, if it's not a false positive, that if you pick this up, it came from the official who tested positive during your last road game?
Possible. That's why we were on like high alert kind of situation here, where that's why we're practicing at 4:00 today, and I think the Hawks were under the same restrictions.
Yep. So that was enhanced protocols by the NBA. Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, glad you're feeling well and hope it stays that way. Obviously there's a movement to try to get as many people vaccinated as possible. Do you feel that these facts, having at least the one dose fully in you and the second dose, shortly before administered, maybe assisting you through this process?
Absolutely. For me, Dan, my sister's a nurse, in Texas. She lives in Corpus Christi, and I talk to her all the time. So for me, I just don't understand why anybody would be against the vaccination. I think that, the more people that do it in our country, it's better for all of us. I'm appreciative of the Magic, of the way that they've organized this for us to, get these vaccinations in like timely and orderly way. And I think it's not only good for you personally, but again, if you think about the people that live around you, it makes it best for everybody. So for sure, I feel so much better about it.
Luke Hetrick, Spectrum Sports.
Cliff, on the opportunity that you can't go and you do got to stay away for a couple days, what do you think that time away from the team, kind of staying at home, would do for you, even though I know you want to be out there?
I'll just watch. Unfortunately, I have experience in this because of, the issue I had in Charlotte with the headaches a few years ago, where, I missed like, I don't know how many, but close to a quarter of the games. And I just stayed in touch with the staff, in touch with the players. Like I do know this Indiana plays home tonight. We'll get them on a back-to-back. Both Sabonis and Turner have been out, and so it makes them obviously a little bit different team. We had a good game with them a couple of weeks ago, but I'm in a place here where I'm healthy enough, so hopefully I can help somewhat. But I'm fortunate. I have a veteran staff. Look at our guys. These guys have been around. They've coached in a bunch of games. Ty's been a head coach. Pat, Steve, Mike. Those guys have been around. Our team will be prepared to play tomorrow night.
Okay. Any final questions? All right. I think we're good. Thank you, Cliff.